What's up you gorgeous mammals? It's your boy Tyrone here, the T-Rex with all the Chad energy of a Reddit moderator on crystal meth. Today we shall be embarking on another futile trip into stupid stuff from the internet together. So please welcome your host, Mother Moocake.
Hello there. Welcome back to another pointless internet series. You should really wash your shirt. You know what? I'm going to be a big brave boy today and I'm going to do this episode with my hat on. First time I've done this in a very long time. What do you think? Does it look good? Does it look bad? Do I look like the next Doctor Who? Do I look like a very camp coal worker from the 1920s? Leave your opinions in the comments below. Hallelujah, hallelujah. So I'm going to break the normal Apis tradition this episode and not talk about the main topic of the episode first. The reason I'm doing this is because this first story I want to start with, it's really short and sweet and I kind of just want to get it out of the way at this point. So about a week ago from now, for 7 or 8 hours, Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp all completely went down. They just... Apparently it's one of the biggest outages ever tracked and the internet went completely crazy about it. People were hoarding onto Twitter like it was some sort of refuge asylum, wondering what the fuck was going on with their favourite sources of shitty memes and trends. For 7 whole hours, the internet panicked. No Instagram, no Facebook. I thought it was fucking great. I felt more alive in those brief hours where Facebook and Instagram were down. I felt more alive in those brief hours than I had done in years. For the first time in as long as I remember, there was just quietness. I wasn't being repeatedly annoyed or disappointed by pointless bollocks. I could just be at peace with myself. What was I, Mother Moocake, doing in the middle of the great Mark Zuckerberg shortage incident of 2021, I hear you ask? Well, I was watching a shitload of classic Doctor Who episodes from the 1970s.
Doctor, you will give to me everything that you have in your mind. Your mind shall be mine.
I'm not mad about your tailor.
Anyway, I was genuinely quite disappointed when Facebook and Instagram came back on again. I was seriously hoping maybe 1 or 2 days they could stay down. I'd have fucking loved that. This is the kind of shit that only happens like once every 300 years when the moon is directly aligned with the retrograde orbit of Venus. I don't know what horoscope fucking idiots go on about. The point is, this is a very, very rare and blessed experience, and I doubt we will experience it for a very long time to come yet. That beautiful quietness without Facebook and anti-vaxxers and minion memes. Anyway, so you should feel blessed, is what I'm saying, for the fact that you lived through this truly incredible experience that hasn't really been experienced by another human soul since before Facebook started, I suppose. So the main topic of this episode, Elon Musk and Grimes are splitting up after spending 3 years together and after having a child together. You might remember that the child is called this. I'm not even going to try and say it. I've covered it in an earlier episode of Apis if you really want to know more, but I'm not even going to try and say this. It's just the most fucking pointless bollocks I've seen in a very, very long time. Anyway, I'm curious to see which of the two will get the patent for this maths equation of a human child, but other than that, I really didn't give a shit about this entire breakup until these pictures surfaced onto the internet. So this is Grimes, and she's dressed as some sort of wannabe Jedi Knight in need of a manicure, reading the Communist Manifesto and reeking of midlife crisis. Really? The fucking Communist Manifesto, for fuck's sake. Your net worth is about $3 million, Grimes. Don't come near me with your fucking Communist Manifesto. Now, on Instagram, Grimes has rushed to her keyboard to explain that these pictures actually come from the paparazzi who apparently caught her on the way to a shoot, and she apparently saw this as a great time to troll them with her copy of the Communist Manifesto that she apparently always keeps on her. And sure, you can believe that if you want, but other than the fact that Grimes just conveniently had the Communist Manifesto on her, there's also the quality of these pictures too. Quality's really good, she's posing very well for them, they're even like well lit. I wouldn't be surprised if there was lighting involved in the taking of these pictures. What I'm getting at is, these aren't the qualities you usually expect from the paparazzi. These are the qualities you expect from a deliberate photo shoot. An organised photo shoot, you might say. So it could have been a deliberate photo shoot, or Grimes' story could be genuinely true, but either way, it's fucking moronic. Look at what she's put to try and justify these pictures like it's just technobabble bollocks. Oh, LeMayo, I was actually trolling the paps with these pictures. Also, vague references about cryptocurrency because it makes me look relatable and socialist. OMG. This is just on the whole a really stupid thing to do, but it's also really low as well. Because if you look back to Grimes' Instagram post again, she says in it that her and Elon Musk are still on very good terms. She makes it seem at least that their breakup was amicable, was friendly. So what was the fucking point of all this in the first place? Because even if it wasn't intended to be, it's very clearly been taken as a dig at Elon Musk. And can you fucking blame anyone? You're there with the fucking Communist Manifesto after you just broke up with one of the richest dudes on the planet. You're either completely tone deaf or this was deliberate. There's no other option here. Also, brief disclaimer at this point, I'm not like ragging on the breakup here or shaming the two of them for breaking up. That's not my intention. Honestly, I couldn't care really that they've broken up. I'm sure they've got very good reasons for breaking up. It's not my place to know their reasons. And if they think it's a good decision, power to them. It's not my place. Go for it. You're two adults. What pisses me off is they're being so petty about it. Like whether this photo thing with Grimes was an intentional photo shoot or just genuinely the paparazzi. It's petty as fuck either way. And I wouldn't be surprised if Elon Musk clapped back as well. You know what fucking Elon Musk is like. It's very probable that he'll fire back with some funny meme on Twitter at some point. And from there, it just spirals down the fucking toilet bowl because it's just one shitty meme or dig at the other person after another, and it just goes back and forth like a broken pair of windscreen wipers. It's just fucking shit. Please don't do that, alright? Please, just break up with someone like a normal human fucking being. Anyway, tune in to Disney Plus in May 2022 where Grimes takes up her brand new role as a certain memeable space wizard who has a gimmick of jumping down from high places and greeting death robots with her funny caption, "Hello there." I'm told the plot of this new series will involve Grimes as this space wizard teaching the people of Tatooine communist values. It's going to be epic, guys. Oh, also, she helps to install Jabba the Hutt as a communist dictator.
Bad news.
Oh no. Anyway, last week...
So for the next story, brief disclaimer, I only found out about this like a day or two ago, so I haven't scripted it, but to be honest, I didn't really feel the need to, because the second I heard about this news, I immediately knew my opinions on it. So I'm going to slightly ad-lib this one, but fuck it, who cares? This is one of the worst shows on the internet anyway. So a few days ago, YouTube announced on Twitter that they're going to be discontinuing their YouTube Rewind series. Now I know that last year they decided to put the YouTube Rewind on hold. They didn't do a 2021, they said they were delaying it for a year, but now they've come forward and they've said they're stopping it completely. There are no longer going to be any YouTube Rewinds, and honestly, I don't give a shit. Now, I had a quick skim through the replies to YouTube's post. I'll be honest, I try to steer as clear of YouTube's Twitter as I can because the comment sections are always just so fucking depraved. But I risked my soul anyway and had a quick skim, and from what I could see, a lot of people were genuinely very annoyed and upset at the news of YouTube Rewind being cancelled. But here's the thing, right? These very same people who were upset at it being cancelled, they were the exact same people who in years previously just shit all over it, labelling it as bad and unfunny and a pandering mess. And to be fair, they've every right because the last few YouTube Rewinds have been bad and unfunny and a pandering mess, but pick a side. You can't just shit on it for years and then suddenly turn around and say that you love it and will miss it now that it's going. Christ knows how many times I've said this on this YouTube channel. Take a shot every time you've heard me say this, but the last good YouTube Rewind was in 2015. Every YouTube Rewind since 2016 has been shit. 2016 and 2017 were just garbage. 2018 was the worst one ever. 2019 was just total non-content. It was just a fucking Watch Mojo list. And then they didn't even bother doing one for 2020. So had there been one for this year, it wouldn't have been good. So we're not missing out on anything here. Personally, I think the decision to retire YouTube Rewind will be a good decision in the long run because the concept was getting so stale. YouTube has become too commercial and too much of a brand to do a YouTube Rewind anymore. Back in like 2012 and 2013, when it was still just a sort of funny website, it could get away with it. It kind of understood the trend more and the gimmicks that were on the website. But now it's not that anymore. It's become too much of a corporate company. It doesn't understand the relevance and the memes and the culture of its own site anymore. And so the rewinds were just getting progressively shittier. So I'm hoping that their retiring of YouTube Rewind is a good step. Hopefully they can take a step back, maybe take a couple of years break and come up with a new, fresh idea that actually works. But hey, I fucking doubt they will.
It's a trick. Send no reply.
And finally today, I'd like to talk about a recent plague that's been all over my Twitter timeline recently, and I guarantee it's been plaguing other people's Twitter timelines too. See, on Twitter at the moment, there's a lot of things that we like to call gimmick accounts. These are essentially accounts that are dedicated to posting a certain type of content or doing a certain thing every now and then. There's one account that I follow, for example, called The Weekend, and every Saturday it posts a clip of Daniel Craig saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, The Weekend." That's the perfect example of an epic, funny, May-made Twitter gimmick account. Now, on the whole, I don't really have a problem with Twitter gimmick accounts. Some of them are quite funny, most of them are unoriginal and a bit shit, but on the whole, I don't really care. But see, what started happening recently is these Twitter gimmick accounts have started taking money on the side in exchange for liking and retweeting people's content. So a much smaller Twitter page, for example, will send its gimmick account a bit of money, and the gimmick account in return will like or retweet some of their banger tweets. All the followers of the gimmick account will see this smaller Twitter person's tweet and like and retweet it, and they'll get some followers. And I'm sorry to have to report that about 90% of these paid likes and retweets are OnlyFans pages. Now, before anyone tries to fucking eviscerate me, I've got no problem with people producing and promoting their own OnlyFans content. I honestly have no strong opinions towards it. I couldn't give a rat's ass about it. And that's the problem. I'm not looking for this kind of content, and yet it keeps repeatedly appearing on my Twitter feed because of these Twitter gimmick accounts. And it's worth mentioning at this point that sometimes upwards of 15 different gimmick accounts, all with thousands and thousands of followers, they're all owned by one person. So when an OnlyFans producer reaches out to a Twitter gimmick person, their content will be liked and retweeted on up to 15 different pages sometimes. Which means sometimes I'll be scrolling through Twitter and I'll see the same fucking OnlyFans post retweeted 15 times, sometimes like 3 or 4 times in a row on my timeline. So I don't have an issue with OnlyFans. What I have an issue with is content I'm not remotely interested in being repeatedly forced onto my timeline and down my throat. Any form of poorly disguised, blatant advertising that's trying to be relatable, that's forced onto my timeline, any of it's a problem. Doesn't matter if it's OnlyFans content, or some person's shitty Twitch stream, or some dodgy looking cryptocurrency. If it's a poorly disguised advertisement and it's forced onto my Twitter feed, I immediately don't fucking like it. So just stop it. Or at least get a bit of a balance. I don't really care if you take a bit of money on the side. To be fair, I probably do exactly the same thing, but don't do it all the time. Balance a bit of the side pay with some authenticity for your Twitter accounts. Here's an example of a post like this that recently cropped up on my Twitter feed, and again, it appeared like 2 or 3 times in the space of 6 posts. But to be honest, this one only really caught my eye because the caption has completely fucking thrown me off. Like, I get that there's trying to be Twitter funny, but then there's taking it too far and coming out with something that's just a bit confusing and fucking weird, and this is one of those examples. In what reality is spitting in my drink gonna make me like you? Imagine this in a scenario like in real life. You're making a trade with someone. Okay, so in return for you following my pages and paying me a subscription fee every month, I'm going to spit in your drink. Deal? Again, I get they're trying to be Twitter funny. Twitter funny is a very weird and difficult thing to do, but this doesn't work. 0 out of 10. It's shit. Not that my opinion even matters anyway, because this is the fucking internet. Anyway, if we reach 4.20 likes, I will make a Twitter gimmick account. I don't know what the gimmick will be. I frankly don't give a shit either. I just want money for retweeting people's nudes. Please suggest your gimmicks in the comments below. Anyway, that's going to probably do it for this one. I'm out of things to say. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And if you didn't enjoy, your mum. My next upload will probably be my annual tradition of playing a shitty horror game. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about it. It's in the pipeline. And once that's finished and moving into November, I've got another very long commentary video in the works. It's going to have a shitload of lore in it. It's genuinely one of the most interesting and difficult topics I've taken on in quite a while. So it's probably going to take me the rest of this month to finish, but I'm hoping to have that to you at some point in November. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm genuinely very excited about it. But yeah, anyway, that's about all Mother Moocake's got this time. So thanks for watching. Stay safe, get your vaccines, and remember, everything is slowly crumbling into dust.